You've set your goals on moving to Florida in the next few months. You've been doing your homework, looking at homes on the internet. Over the past month, you found 2, possibly 3 that you really love, but you just can't make the trip down to Florida to check them out. So what do? You save them on your computer only to find out that 2 weeks later, they're all sold. To make matters worse, you finally decide to set a date to fly down here, only to discover that there's either no inventory or nothing at all interests you. So all you end up doing is making a short vacation. In the back of your mind, you're saying, gee, I wish there was some way I could have purchased that home I saw last month. It was perfect and exactly what we were looking for. So, is it possible to purchase a home sight unseen? And if so, how can you make an informed and intelligent decision that would reduce your risk of total disappointment? Well, stick around and we'll find out. Everybody, it's Roy and Lily again from 4-Star Homes. Hey, you know, when I mentioned the fact in a previous video that the majority of our sales here in Country Club Village are done sight unseen, meaning that people are buying these homes off the internet without actually physically seeing them, a lot of you people were amazed and asked, well, gee, how do you go about doing that? So I'm going to go into more detail because yes, you can buy these homes sight unseen, and yes, you could buy them with an informed decision. Okay, now this is something I'm going to handle strictly on my own, so Lilia, I'm going to excuse you.
What do you want me to do?
There's really nothing for you to do. This is something I handle all the time, so if you want, why don't you go find something to paint? Isn't there something in the house that needs fixing? Something you could go do?
I have great project, but I need big money. Sorry, today day off. Relax.
Anytime she gets ideas, I know it's going to cost me. That's why I keep my wallet hidden. But anyway, listen, folks, I know some of you only watch our videos because you're interested in seeing Lily, and hey, I'm not going to disappoint you. I have a very special treat for you, which I'm going to show at the end of this particular segment. Last year, Lily found something that she really wanted. And for the past year, that's all I've heard about is this, okay?
Please, honey, please.
Now, being the great husband that I am, I finally came through. I have kept my promise. Okay, I want you guys to go ahead and take a look at this. And gentlemen, let me tell you, if you're stumped on what to get your wife for your anniversary or for her birthday, I have the perfect solution, much better than jewelry and flowers. Okay, so stay tuned to the end of the video to see exactly what happened.
Because it's me.
All right, so Lily's not here, but listen guys, if you hear some strange noise or beeping in the background, that's Lily's bread maker back there. She's baking bread. Yes, everybody, we don't buy bread. She bakes everything. If you're like me, you probably hate long videos. So listen, if you want to skip past some of the details that I'm going to cover, go ahead and jump down to the time that I have shown on here. That'll start the 2 different buying scenarios that I have. However, I do highly recommend coming back and watching the material I'm going to show you because there's a lot of detail that you should know about between right now and that particular time that the scenarios start. Now, before we begin this procedure, I just want to start out by saying that this is through 4-Star Homes. This is the way that we do it. I don't know about our competitors. I mean, they may do things completely different or not do it at all. So, I mean, if you're working with any other company other than 4-Star Homes, you're really going to need to ask whatever agent you're working with about buying a home sight unseen. I think Lily and I have been successful at doing this for 3 main reasons. The first reason is the videos that we put up, and I'll touch a little bit more about that. The second reason is that we're able to get forms signed electronically in a split second, and I'll talk a little bit more about that also. And third, having the home inspected by a certified Florida inspector. Now, another point that I want to make is that all agents are different. That's the nice thing about being a sales agent. Yes, we have company rules and guidelines that we have to follow, but every agent works differently. So, you know, I'm going to show you how I would handle a deal like this, but that's no guarantee that any other agent in the company works the same way I do. Now, one thing I get asked about every now and then are called disclosure laws. So let me explain this in a little bit more detail. If you're buying a piece of real estate, like a house here in the state of Florida, there is a disclosure law which requires the seller to list everything that they know is wrong with the house. However, manufactured homes on leased land, like here in Spanish Lakes Country Club Village, that is not considered to be real estate. It's actually considered to be property. So what do I mean by property? Property is exactly like your car. Okay, your car is not a piece of real estate, it is property. So if you go to sell your car, there is no law that requires you to fill out a disclosure form. So it's the same thing with manufactured homes. Now, a good agent, okay, if they do find something wrong with the house, they should disclose it. However, there are times when either the agent or the seller know that there's anything wrong with the house. And let me give you an example, like let's say the roof, okay, the roof. A sales agent is not required to get up on a roof and do an inspection, nor are they required to go under the house and do a plumbing inspection. Okay, and if the sellers are like 70, 80, or 90 years old, obviously they're not up on the roof doing an inspection either. So a lot of times there are things that get by both the buyers and sellers. So it's important to remember that any home that you buy here in the state of Florida, manufactured home, you're going to be buying the house as is. So the full responsibility of doing due diligence is going to fall completely on you. Now listen, I'm not trying to scare you or anything like that, but what I'm trying to do is make it clear that in order to do this correctly and avoid disappointment, you really need to do your homework, and that's going to start by asking a lot of questions. All right, so let's go back to the videos that I was talking about. You know, Lily and I, we put a video up of every single house that we list. Now, unfortunately, very few agents do this. As a matter of fact, I'm sure you've probably seen some listings where they have only 4 or 5 pictures turned on their side or upside down and a description that says something like, nice house, 2 bedrooms, call today, and that's all you get. So if you run into a situation like that, you know, obviously what you want to do is pick up the phone, you call the agent and you talk to them. See if you can get better pictures. Ask the agent if they could go ahead and do a video. I've posted private videos on YouTube several times, so I mean, it's not a difficult thing to do, but some agents also have the capability of using their cell phones. They have that face-to-face virtual tour where they could actually go into a house and, you know, just give you a live demonstration like that. So, I mean, this is something you'll have to ask the agent to do. Number 2, the electronic signatures. This is the part that keeps you from having to come to Florida at all, because everything that we do can be done electronically. Okay, so let me explain. We use a company called DocuSign, and if I have to send you a document such as a sales and purchase agreement, I can email it to you. What you do is you sign it right there online, you push the button, that document automatically gets sent to the seller. Now, this comes in very handy because let's say you're in Michigan, the seller doesn't necessarily have to be in Florida either. They could be Canadian, so they could be up in Canada. So as soon as you push that button, that document gets sent right to the seller. They sign it online, then it automatically gets sent back to you showing both signatures for your file, and another copy goes directly to our office for processing. Okay, so that makes things very simple. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about then is inspections, because the home inspection is probably the most important thing that you could have done. They don't cost a lot of money. Typically, what I would recommend you do is have what's called a 4-point inspection, and those 4 points usually include the most important points that people are always interested in, right? So let's talk about that. The roof, how old is the roof? The AC, what's the condition of the AC? How about the electrical system in the house? And then obviously we also want to know about the plumbing. Now, usually these particular inspections run about $150. They could be anywhere between 10 and 20 pages long. The inspector will do a full photographs. I mean, they do everything, and it's actually sent to you for your review. So here, I'll show you a few pages of what it would look like. Home inspections need to be done by a certified Florida home inspector. To stay unbiased, I highly recommend choosing your own inspector. However, most agents like myself do have names of inspectors that we've used in the past and are happy to pass that on to you. It's up to you to call the inspector, express your concerns, and make payment arrangements. Alrighty, so with all of that being said, let's get into our first hypothetical example. And this is probably the easiest of all ways, so let me explain. You see a house that you like, you call me up on the telephone, and you say, hey Roy, we saw this house, we watched the video, we really like the house, we're very interested in buying it, but we want to get the house inspected. Not a problem. So, I mean, you can even call any agent. They'll probably do the same thing. So, not a problem. If you don't have an inspector, I'll go ahead and give you the name and number of an inspector. Go ahead and set up your inspection. Have the inspection done. Look at the inspection report, and then base what you see on the inspection report. Then you can go ahead and make a written offer to the seller at that point in time. Okay? That's the easiest way to do it. But there is a downside to that, and let me explain what the downside is. Okay, so you're in the process of getting an inspector, but in the meantime, I get a phone call, okay, from another agent, and they say, hey, Roy, I have an offer on this particular house. Well, because of the fact that you do not have a written agreement with the seller on that home, I am obligated to bring that offer to the seller. So there is a good chance that house might get sold from out underneath you, and you're out $150. So, is there a better way to do this? Yes, there is, and this is what I recommend that most people do. If you're interested in a house and you call me on it and you say, yes, we're interested in it, what I'm going to recommend is let's go ahead and do a sales and purchase agreement on the house, okay? I email you this, you go ahead, you sign it, it goes to the seller, everybody gets their copies like I explained, but in addition to that, I'm going to put an addendum to the sales and purchase agreement on there. This is for an inspection. And what I do is I call up the seller and I say, hey, listen, I have a couple up in Michigan, they're interested in the house, they want to put a deposit down on it, but they want to have the home inspected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sales and purchase agreement for the full listing price, and they're going to go ahead and base their offer on the inspection report. So specifically, I put right on here, it states that both buyer and sellers both have agreed to defer negotiations until a home inspection has been completed and reviewed by both parties, okay? So you go ahead and sign the documents, and then obviously you're going to want to send a check in for a deposit. We'll hold your deposit. Now, while your check is in the mail, this is the perfect time to go ahead and call your inspector. Get that set up as soon as you possibly can, because you don't want to delay on it. So why do I collect a deposit? Typically, I ask for 10%. So if you're looking at a house that's $50,000, I like to get a upfront deposit of $5,000. Now, this doesn't obligate you, but what it does do is that it does show the seller that I have a honest and sincere buyer ready to purchase the house if the terms and conditions are right. So, you just had the house inspected, and let's take an awful scenario here, okay? Let's say the inspection report, it doesn't come back too good. Let's take, for example, the AC. The inspector looks at the AC. He says it's 22 years old. It's smoking like a smokestack. It's wheezing. It's coughing. It's grinding. In other words, the air conditioner is shot. All right. So we already know that replacing an air conditioner, one of these double wides, is going to run about $5,000, $5,500. Now, your first impression might be to say, "Hey, Roy, you know what? I just want to get out of the contract." And you could go ahead and do that. We do have a clause in here that states that if the inspection does not come back well, or you cannot negotiate with the seller as far as the defects in the house, you have the right to cancel the contract and receive back your full deposit, in which case, our example, we're saying $5,000. So that'll put you back to square one. So what's the worst that could happen to you? Well, the worst is that you'd be out $150 if you even want to consider it to be the worst, okay? Because I'll tell you, it's better to lose $150 than to buy a house as is, just to come down to Florida to find out you need to dump another $5,000 into it. Now, before you tell me, hey, Roy, let's just go ahead and cancel the contract, there's a couple of things you might want to consider before you do so. The first is that, yeah, you could go ahead and cancel the contract, but what that's going to do, it's going to put the seller into a pickle. Why? Because now we have to relist the house, and guess what? The next guy that comes along might have the house inspected, and it's going to turn up the same thing, bad air conditioner. So this could end up to be a very, very vicious cycle for the seller, because now somebody has to pay for that air conditioner. It's either got to be the seller or it's got to be the buyer. So obviously the seller is stuck with it at this point in time. Also, think about this. Just like you might be up in Michigan, again, our seller might be up in Kentucky or Connecticut or even up in Canada. Don't think for a moment that they're going to jump on an airplane and just fly down here and replace that air conditioner, because it's just not going to happen. In other words, what you might have is a very, very motivated seller who's willing to make you a much better deal just to get out from under this air conditioning problem. Number two, you might even come out further ahead on this. Let me explain to you. Let's say, for example, the inspection report came back very, very good. Okay, the inspector looked at the air conditioner. He said it's 10 years old. It's in perfect working order, nothing wrong with it, okay? So you're looking at this $50,000 house, you make an offer of $47,000. The seller accepts it. Congratulations, you have a house. But what you do have is you have a house with a 10-year-old air conditioner. Now, on the same token, let's say you're looking at the $50,000 house with the bad air conditioner. It puts you into a better negotiating position. So let's say you make an offer of $40,000 and the seller accepts $41,000, so you're $9,000 ahead there. But obviously, you know you have to buy an air conditioner. So when you get down here to Florida, you get to do a couple of things. Number one, you get to choose your own contractor. Number two, okay, you get to choose your own air conditioner. So now you have this air conditioner installed. So for the same amount of money that you would have been spending for a 10-year-old conditioner, now you have a brand spanking new air conditioning with all the warranties that go with it. You have your inspection already done. You have all the details about the house. Now you've decided you want to continue with the purchase. So how do we go about doing that? Very simple. At this point in time, now is the time where you want to go ahead and make your offer to the seller. So then I'll go ahead, contact the seller with your offer. We'll negotiate a deal. Once you and the seller have come to a mutual conclusion as far as price, it's very, very simple. What I'll do is I'll do another addendum, okay, just to show the change of price. I will email it to you via DocuSign. You'll go ahead and sign it. It'll go through the different stages. Everybody will get a copy, and we're on our way. So what happens after that? Well, okay, well, obviously you still have to get approved by whatever park that you're going to purchase in. So your agent should be able to give you applications for that, get that done, get it squared away. And then it's just basically waiting for the approval. Once you're approved, we can actually close right away on these homes. And you do not have to come to Florida. You're more than welcome to if you want, but you do not have to come here. 4-Star Homes will prepare what's called a email package for you. We will email it to you with all the documents that you need. Now, those particular documents you can't do a DocuSign on because they're going to the Department of Motor Vehicles. So you have to print them, you have to sign them in blue ink. We will also provide you with the total amount due, the balance due on your home after your deposit. You'll need to get a cashier's check from the bank. So all you do is you take that paperwork that you signed, take that check, stick it into an envelope, and send it to 4-Star Homes, and we'll take care of everything else after that. So once we receive it, then we'll go ahead and process everything that you have through the Department of Motor Vehicles. We will prepare your titles, get your registrations. Everything for you will be done without you ever having to step foot into the state of Florida. There's going to be additional fees associated with the purchase of your house. This is going to include DMV fees, taxes, all of that fun stuff. If you're interested in learning more about that, Lily and I, we have a separate video posted. It's entitled Upfront Costs When Purchasing a Mobile Home Here in Florida. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link to that right on the screen. I'll probably put it like over here or over here. I don't know, wherever I could fit it, but it'll be on the screen. Just tap on that. It'll take you right to that particular video. It's only 4.5 minutes long. Definitely worth watching. So that's it, everybody. That's how you buy a house sight unseen. And you know, Lily and I were happy to help you. And listen, if you guys are looking at any of the homes here out of our Vero Beach office, and that's going to include areas like Vero Beach, Melbourne, Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie, all these areas up and down the coast, you know, we're flattered that some of you decided you want to work with us. Hey, we're more than happy to help you. You know, don't email us, don't text us, give us a call. It's best that we talk on the telephone to get you started. And you can call us at...
Phone.
Yes, the phone.
330-502-1947.
That's right, everybody. So to conclude this video, I'm going to keep my promise here and show you what happened with Lily. Let me give you a quick backstory on that. Back in June of 2021, we were listing a house and doing a video, a walkthrough video, and she saw something in the house, and this is something that she absolutely had to have. So we're going to go ahead and entitle this particular segment, Nothing Says Love Like a Slop Sink. So everybody, enjoy this. We'll see you on our next video. Take care. Laundry room, and we're going to take a walk in there, and you can see this room is nice, neat, and clean. plenty of extra storage. Let me get you a shot of the washer and dryer. What?
Look at it. I like this idea. I wanted to. Please, please, honey, please. I wanted to in my laundry room.
My wife likes the slop sink in here, and believe it or not, there's not very many homes that actually had these installed. So I think for Christmas, maybe I'll buy her a slop sink. Look at this, everybody. Promises kept, my love. What do you think?
I'm happy.
Are you happy? Okay, well, let me tell you something. I didn't get you the cheap version. This is the upgraded deluxe version, just so you know. I want you to take a look at this. We got you the, this is the better faucet with the pull-out hose. And, anyway, turn that off. Turn it off. Okay. And, okay, I even got you a rubber stopper for the bottom. And we got this handy dandy rack right here. So when you're done painting, you can clean your paintbrushes in here and then put them right there to dry. Isn't that amazing? Huh?
I can use it like my jacuzzi.
Yeah. Hey, you can use it for whatever you want because, you know, this just goes to show you how much I really love you. Okay, so I hope you're very happy with it. Are you happy?
I love you.
Oh. Well, don't love me too much because I didn't tell you I took the money to pay for this out of your bank account. All right. Now listen, I know I told you that this was supposed to be your Christmas gift for last year, 2021, but hey, you know, this is July right now. Christmas is coming up in a few months, so let's just go ahead and say that this is for your Christmas gift this year. How's that sound to you?
Merry Christmas!